Hello everybody, Mr. Pilgrim here coming at you with a brand new Platinum Trophy guide, and this is going to be for Elden Ring. I figured it's now been long enough that the game has been out and there's now enough information to make more widely known for people and have a more clear defined guide on what you need to do, as it'll only be covering the most important things, not the optional stuff which you can do in between the important stuff, as there's only one thing that you can absolutely miss in the game. Everything else you can always go back and do when you're done. Like, when you beat the game, you won't be sent back to the, you won't be immediately put into New Game Plus. It'll ask you if you want to do that or not, and you can say no. So we're going to be starting off with the Samurai with the Golden Seed, and we're just going to get started, guys. Alright, so after that amazing intro, we're just going to grab some things and be on our way. Now, starting off, don't worry about if you can't defeat the first boss, as you can always come back to this area later if you really want to get some revenge. Or, you can spend as many times as you want trying to fight this boss and defeat it. But all we're going to be trying to do is just get out of here as quickly as possible. We're going to wait till it loads in, and then just jump off. This will allow us to just basically skip having to wait for the boss to kill us and save us some time. I'm not trying to speedrun or anything, but just, if you can come back to this fight, it's just going to save time. Also going to try and skip cutscenes if I feel like it's necessary. If you want to do the starting tutorial dungeon, you can just drop down right there, and it'll lead to that item up there. But if not, you don't have to. You can just make your way out into Limgrave. Might as well grab the multiplayer items. Now, this guide is also going to be for a solo offline kind of player, so you don't have to worry about being online or anything like that at all. One thing though is at the end, if you guys would like, and you're on PlayStation of course, you can summon me into your world and I can drop you items, weapons, or whatever you'd want for those who are subscribed to the channel and help give some honest feedback. So you'll have a couple of tutorials. You can talk to Var a couple times here, progress his questline.
Are you familiar? You may all that. It will leave even if.
Now we're just going to be running for a bit, so don't worry. If I can, I will try and just speed up certain things. That way, it's not too long, especially early on when we don't have a horse. But from here, all you're going to do is come up to this cathedral. We'll come back for the tree sentinel if you really want to fight him, you can. Because you can basically just get overpowered by items and weapons and things. So from here, I am actually going to speed up the next section from this grace to the next one. So from here, it's just going to be north, and we're just going to make a mad dash to it. Alright, now once you've made it to this side of grace, you'll want to sit down, and you will have the first NPC who you can actually interact with show up through a cutscene, and she will talk to you.
Have you
This
heard
is Melina.
of Acer? But I can play turning root to 80. You need her to the foot. Then
You
it's
just want to
settled.
accept
Summon me.
her
I
offer,
bequeath.
and then she will give you the horse.
Use it. It will sub Torrent. Treat him with.
From here, we'll just equip Torrent. But the first thing you immediately want to do once you can is just warp all the way back to the Church of Ella.
This way,
Alright,
tarnished.
and once you have
May I
spawned
have a
in,
word?
if you come over here, you will be able to
Pleasure
talk
to
to
me. I am
Rani,
awake. I'd heard
or
tales
Rena.
upon the talk
Sorry.
thou art but call for. I was entrusted by Torrent.
You'll basically just tell her that you can
Tis
summon.
a bell for call summon them. The spirits now it is the.
So now you can summon spirits, and your life's made a little easier. So you'll just want to equip those for now.
Mine intrusion tarnished. I doubt we shall again meet. But all the same, learn well the lands between. How long will it be, I wonder, before the tarnished tire of obeisance to the two fingers?
She'll leave. And then one thing that probably is going to get me some hate is anytime you have a vendor,
And I can also that you're not. Then why not?
you're going to want to sadly kill them, because when you kill them, you get their bell bearing, which you can give to another NPC. So now you'll have all of these merchants stock in one specific area.
Our people will stand for your barbarism.
You get the finger snap, which you can actually equip later. Where is it? There it is. Alright, so from here, now we are going to go all the way back to Gatefront. Alright, so when you're here at the Gatefront, you'll notice on the left-hand side, if you see that little gate, that means that you can summon your spirits and interact with them, which is pretty cool. While we're here in this little starting area, if you come over here and head down, you can finagle your way, even when you're on horse. And in here is where you'll get the whetstone, which will allow you to apply ashes of war to weapons, which will come in handy for the kind of build I'm going to go for. And then from here, we're just going to be grace gathering at this point, so you won't be fighting anything just yet. Just going to be grabbing some very optional things, which is really nice, as they will come in handy fairly early. Do note that at night there are some enemies that can spawn and can be more troublesome, like this knight up here on his horse. Those only spawn at night. They will hunt you down. But anyways, we're just going to be grabbing some very specific things, so we can basically just ignore him and then head down this way. Like I said, for the most part, we're just going to be gathering things. That way, when the time comes, we will have the builds and stuff like that that we need. Now, in this guide, I'm also going to be, like I said, helping you get everything that you will need for the Platinum Trophy, so I will help you get all of the legendary everythings that you need, which is a step up from the other Souls games that require you to do way more than just get very specific versions.
Is anybody there?
We're just going to ignore this NPC for a moment. Don't worry, if you ignore that NPC, nothing happens to him. He can't be like killed or anything. So don't worry about that. You can always come and do his quest later. We're just gonna ride past this giant as he's just He's a chill dude. It's not doing anybody any harm. So here we have the first or third Church of America. At every single one of these churches that you can find, there is very specifically, at this one is the Flask of Wondrous Physic, but at most of the churches you can find a Sacred Tier, which is basically going to buff the amount of healing that your Cerulean Flasks do. So from here, we're going to grab a couple more things before we teleport secretly. So yeah, I'm going to show you by just riding, so you'll just have to follow the path I take, as there's not much to say until we get there. Alright, so from here we're now going to warp all the way back to the Third Church of America, and then we're going to teleport. Alright, so once you are here, you'll head out this little left side and go north. And back here you'll see this very ominous wind portal thing, and you'll interact with that. You will be here at Grail's Dragonbarrow. Might as well grab the grace that we're right next to while we're here. Don't worry, there's just that one boss right behind us. Now, when we look at the map, you will see that we are way up here in the north side. Don't worry. But from here, we'll just follow the path. This gargoyle dude is pretty docile. He'll only start attacking or doing anything unless you hit him. Then he won't be cool. So just be wary of that. While you're heading down, you can grab this golden seed, used to upgrade the number of flasks that you have, which is pretty cool. And then as you can see from here, there's another thing of grace that we can grab. Might as well grab this while we're here. It's just a multiplayer thing, so don't worry about that. Now when heading across this bridge, don't worry about this dragon. He's just a little pushover. It's not going to do anything. As you can see, he ain't gonna do anything. And even if, you can just run away. But following the path that I take, you'll come to this minor Erd tree, which are optional side things that you can get and do. There's a boss there at every one of them, and when you defeat them, you'll get two different things for your Wondrous Flask of Physics. We'll grab one of them later, which I personally use a lot. But if you come around to the back here, you can take this Spirit Spring jump up here, and we will now have the second fort of the map obtained, right behind this massive dragon boss that we can fight. for now, we're just going to head inside and grab something of importance. Alright, so now that we're here, we're going to be grabbing one of the first legendary talismans in the game that you can grab at Fort Faroth. There's also another item we're going to be grabbing while we're here that's important in terms of story, so just be wary of that. You can get poisoned if you're unlucky, but for the most part we had really good non-aggro until we needed it. So up here in this chest will be the first half of a medallion, which will be used for an elevator later on. And then down here you can follow the path that I take, and that'll get you the first legendary talisman. So if you come here, drop into this hole, you can then turn around. If you want to try and grab this rune, by all means, get you some runes. But if you come back here, you'll find that there's these two rats. They can be a bit of a bother, but if you come down here, you'll grab the Radagon Soreseal, which is, in my opinion, one of the best that you can have early on. If you die, that's fine. We're in no rush right now. Alright. Now, as you'll see, we only have one talisman slot, but if you look on the left side, you will see my stats, or sorry, not left side, right side, you'll see my stats, and then as you'll see, when we go to put the Radagon Soreseal on, we get basically 20 free levels, which gives us a bunch of different things that are really good for us right now, which is awesome. But from here, basically, we're just going to warp all the way back to the first step, actually. Alright, so from here we're actually going to be going and grabbing a very specific consumable item that'll help boost our souls, since we don't have anything to do that right now. So from here we'll just be heading down, and if you follow the path that I take, it'll lead you to no resistance. Alright, so from here, as you can see, we're just going to run up, grab this gold pickled foulfoot, which is the consumable that lets you basically, when you use it in the amount that is active, it will increase the number of souls, or runes, sorry, so used to the other games, that you will obtain from defeating enemies and such as that. So from here, like always, as you know, just going to just grab the bell bearing and make our life easier. Now, if you want to, you can eventually head over to that island across from us. If you do the coastal cove, which we discover along the way, when completing it, you will then end up at that island, which will be a Dragon Academy island, which you can trade dragon hearts to gain dragon incantations. There is another one that we can find, but moving on, basically as of now we're going to head back to Gatefront. Actually no, we're gonna head to, we're gonna head back to First Step again, sorry. Alright, so from here we're just going to be going down and immediately to the right and into these ruins over here. trying to be careful not to overdo my jumps and end up causing myself to take damage. But if you come over here, you'll eventually find a very specific area right here. Might as well grab what we can. And then if you head down, you'll find that there is a door. If you want to quit out to reset the enemies, by all means you can, but interact with this chest and just let the smoke take you away. Alright, now as you'll see, we're in a tunnel. We're next to a chest that has some items that we can use. Don't worry about anything, you might as well just head on out. We can grab anything, might as well, you know. Get some cash and just be on our way. Now, if you happen to die, you will just respawn in this tunnel, so don't worry about that at all. So now we can drop down here, grab this grace, and then be on our way. Now, as you can see, we're now here in Caelid, in the right side of the map again, as you'll see right here. We're actually right next to a town which we're going to be grabbing the grace for. So if you just come over here, you can easily find it. Might as well grab some things while we're here, you know, as always. What is this? Ah, yes. Now, while you're here, there is something called the Scarlet Rot that can affect you, so do be careful of that, as it is quite potent and it does hurt. But if you ride more southwest, as you'll see, we found another grace. Do be careful of the pools of explosion. Now, this grace will come in handy later on, so it's good to grab it while we are here. But from here, we're basically just going to be heading into these ruins over here. So, the main thing I'm trying to do is just show options that are going to be available to you guys when you so choose to. If you choose to, of course. As these ruins have some pretty unique things. Over here you can find a full set of armor. And then, if you come over here, you can kind of nudge yourself along the edge and grab this meteor staff. Come on. Probably get off the horse to do it. There you go. You'll get the meteorite staff. So in case you want to have a sorcery build, by all means you can. But if you come over here to this one specific area, you'll find that there's another staircase down. And down here is going to be a very specific sorcery that you can use with that staff that gets boosted. So in case you want to do that, that's fine. Now from here we're also going to try and see if we can get out alive, which we can. And then from here, I believe it's this way. Yes. So if you go south, you'll eventually find this little area over here with another site of grace. And as you can finally look on the map, as you can see, we started off here and then went there, 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 and all that. So yeah. Now from here you can actually head more west, up by these sword statues, or sword graveyard. And I don't know why they happen to have two grace sites so close to each other, but you know, might as well grab it while you can. So from here, we can actually head more north along the road. and as you can see, to once again another site of grace. Pretty crazy how many graces they have so close to each other. And then from here, I'm actually going to kind of speed up the next little section just to make it a little bit quicker than normal, and we're going to be grabbing a optional weapon to give you, you know, something different to use. So yeah. And as you can see, you get the great sword, which is modeled after the standard great sword used by Guts. I'm just going to accept my fate here, so don't worry about that. So that is one optional item. There are a couple more that I'll be showing you, so don't worry about that. Alright, so now if we actually head back to Astray from Caelid Highway North. Oh, that's right. I forget. If you happen to get snared by a trap chest, you have to rest at a site of grace to restore it.
Forgive me to determine if you had. It seems
after so many
Torrent,
sites of grace that you've gotten, Melina will
gathering
come back and will ask you if you want to go to the Roundtable. If you tell her no right now, it's not going to stop you from being able to go later. So whenever you choose to go to the Roundtable, that will get you your first official trophy for the game. But from here, we're now going to travel to the Astray from Caelid Highway North. Alright, so from here, there's actually a couple of things that we're going to do. Do be careful of those insect-like enemies. They can basically one-shot you right now. But while we're here, we're at the Caelid Waypoint Ruins, and we're trying to specifically find the stairs that lead down. You know, all that stuff. They can sometimes be tricky or hard to find and locate, but here we go, we found them. So if we come down here, we can actually find another optional if I can get it, the Meteoric Ore Blade, which is a pretty cool optional katana. You just need 18 intelligence to use. So we're going to be doing that just for now because, no, why not? And then we're just going to be GTFOing out of here, I believe. I'm just going to double check. Yeah, there's nothing else that we need from here. While we're at it, we might as well just keep heading south and around, and then we'll eventually find the the map fragment, and we're also going to be grabbing a couple of other things while we're here, like this site of grace. But from here, we can basically head over to this church. We can ignore this dragon, don't worry about him. He's not going to do anything. But if we come over here, we will find a dragon church. Find that, ancient dragon, and get this site of grace. Don't worry about dying, as this is more helpful for us, since we'll basically just come right back here, or to the last grace we were at. Alright, I'm just going to mark that specific spot on my map just to give myself a better time so I know exactly where I'm going, as this will be the map fragment that we need. Now we have Caelid, and then from here we can actually head down to the Redmane Castle and grab that while we're already here. Now, from here, we're actually going to remove that. As you can see, we've got most of Caelid and some other optional things. Now, from here, we're actually going to head all the way back to the gate front. Alright, now from here, we're going to be going and grabbing some more specific graces. You can ignore most of the enemies in this area as they won't chase you. And then heading up this path, we'll find another golden seed, which is pretty cool. There'll be some wolves who try and jump you. Don't worry about them. Simply come here, grab the grace. Might as well grab any and all items that we can. Stone sword keys will come in handy. Here we will find Rodrika. If you simply just exhaust all of her dialogue,
and heading to entice well that, but I don't have. It's scared. I want some nothing. Can you take?
You'll eventually get another. You'll get another ashes, and then from here we can actually just go to the next site of grace. So from here, if you kind of just follow this road around, we'll be led to another site of grace. And this will actually be a more important site of grace than anything. So just follow the path, ignore the enemies, and you'll see it off on the right. Grab this grace. You shouldn't have anything following you up to right here. Now, there's something I'm going to spoil right here, right now, so it's going to take a moment for that. But the first legendary item that you have the option of getting is from this guy. You do have to kill him to get it, And the downside is nothing. You will get his bell bearing and then can buy the Ashes of War from him. The downside is I don't know how hard of a fight he is going to be, as when I fought him to get the weapon in my first save, it was way easier than I imagined, as I beat him really easily. So we're just going to...
No choice then. Is this what the rest have of us?
And bam. Alright. We're going to give that a retry, and then I'm just going to see you once I have beaten him and got the weapon. So yeah.
You are an enigma. To be certain, the volcano manor awaits you.
Alright, now as you can see, we have the Devourer Scepter. It is one of the legendary armaments that you get in the game. Now, if you're wondering what that means, when you go and look at it and then switch to look at its description, you'll see right there it says one of the legendary armaments. And so yeah, so it's one of the few that you can get pretty early on. The others are kind of more boss related and hidden behind certain things. So yeah, but from here we can actually now head back to the Stormhill Shack. And from here we're basically just going to go and grab the next site of grace. And then from there we can actually make a massive detour and skip a major area that we can then come back to. So if you come along this left side here, you won't have an exploding ballista shoot at you, which is very nice, as you can see right there. And from here is basically where you're supposed to fight your first major boss in the game, but we're not going to do that right now. Ooh, that was really close. But from here we're actually going to head back to Gatefront, as there are two specific wagons here that you can loot, similar to the one I looted in Caelid to get the greatsword. There's going to be two here that you can find, one pretty close to where the Grace is, and then another one just a little bit more south of that. So I'm going to quickly loot those, and then I'm actually going to come back to Stormhill Shack. So I'll see y'all when that is said and done. So yeah. We're actually going to be riding a very specific and long path. So of course, like always, I'm going to just speed it up instead of trying to talk through it and make the video longer than it has to be, as it's probably already fairly long right now. So hopefully you bear with me on this, as we're just doing a bunch of side stuff for now to really set up the game. So I'll see you and speak to you once we are there. So yeah. Alright, now as you can see, we have made it past the entirety of Stormhill Castle. And also, one thing I forgot to mention when killing that NPC and getting his armor is the fact that you miss out on a very specific quest later on. So just be wary of that, as the only thing that you miss out is another armor set, which is pretty cool. So from here, like always, but other than that, like always, as you know, we're just going to be running along and grabbing some things from here as well, so I'm just going to skip to that as well. Alright, now as you can see, once you make it to this very specific gazebo, there'll be an NPC who will ask for your help.
Hello, it's rather cheap. My mistress, but I was a. Could I ask that thug only if you've.
You'll accept.
What a blessed thug, please.
And then from here, we're basically just going to be going more northwest. And then there'll be another site of grace just to the left of us, which makes this very convenient. So from here, as you can see, it's pretty close, and there's also a mini-boss here that you can find, who basically gives you the red tearstone ring, and if you don't know what that does, it's a staple item in most high-end Souls builds that boosts your damage when your health is really low. But anyways, if you just keep heading more northwest, you'll eventually find this shack here. And you'll find this guy chilling and cooking some prawns.
What are you trying to stop?
You'll basically just tell him about the necklace. He'll then want 1,000 runes. And just like that, boom. Now, if you actually talk to him again, you can actually buy some prawns. I just buy one so he's on good terms with us. He'll give you the spread out emote. But from here, we're now just going to head back and give her the necklace, because we're nice, charitable people.
Please. Oh yes, thank you. Did I forget? I see. You are very to study such. Please.
You will now.
You are a volcano.
You will now have received a invitation to the Volcano Manor, which will be something that'll come in handy quite later. So don't worry about it right now. But while we're here, we might as well grab whatever we can and explore as much as we can. And I'm going to be trying to use the Boilprawn Shack as a nice little, not permanent hub area to let you know where you're going or anything like that, but it is a good place to start. So from here, I'm just going to be going west underneath that giant mountain, and we're going to grab a thing or two there. Right, so if you head up this hill, you can actually sneak past this one enemy up here who's kind of a pain because he likes to throw fire out a lot at you. But if you come over here and roll against this pot,
Please, no. Dear me. I haven't a clue. No secrets lie with me, not a one. Oh, please leave me be.
you can actually talk to this guy and he'll give you a
The curse, I beg you. You must.
he'll give you the secret right half of a secret medallion.
Then please give it to.
He'll want you to give it to this chick. For now, we're basically just going to head back to the Boilprawn. We're also going to mark this very specific spot just to save ourselves some time. So from this grace, if you actually head more southeast, you'll find a gazebo that is surrounded by some prawns, and it has some upgrade stones 3, which are pretty useful and will come in handy eventually. However, what we're trying to do is simply get up to that little area. So from here, we're just going to follow this path, and we're going to grab a very specific key item that we need. This isn't the key item, but any upgrade stones that we can get and save ourselves time on is always much appreciated. There it is. So it's not over at Academy Gate, it's at Temple Quarter. Guess I'm just bad, guys. Sorry about that. Know that there is a grace over here at Temple Quarter. There it is. Which is actually perfect because what we're here for is just right in front of us. So from that grace, if you actually just run straight, you'll eventually find a dragon just chilling way over here. And you can just go behind him, ignore him, grab the key item that we're here for, which is this. And then you can parkour your way out if you really want to. I'm just going to be safe and just go around. But you can then come over here to this little side area. And you'll find this grace site over here. But from here we can actually access a couple other things which are pretty cool. You could find this really unique jellyfish area, which has the jellyfish shield, as you can see right there. You can cut through this little area. Don't worry about it. None of the enemies are really going to hurt you. Just don't worry. You can run past this cart and everything in it. Eventually you'll make your way over to this little area up here just above us. As you can see, there's another site of grace if it's just barely flickering. And then we're going to grab this map. Now the next main thing that we're going to do is going to be a bit of a run. So like always, I'm just going to try and cut out as much as I can and save you guys the time. But from here, it's basically just going to be to that gate area up there. Alright, so from here you can now use that key that we picked up by that dragon to enter Raya Lucaria. So for now, we're just going to be grabbing this grace, so when we come back to it, we already have it and we won't have to wait for all that. So from here, as you can see, we've done quite a lot already. There's a couple other things that we can do, which will be from the northern lake shore, which I'll just show now. This is just going to be a mad sprint and run to the next legendary weapon that we can grab, as it's a pretty good weapon and it's a option for you guys to have. Now you're probably wondering why I grabbed that cave. That'll come in handy in just a moment after I show you the path to this weapon. Alright, now as you can see, we have found our second legendary weapon so far. I'd say that's more than plenty of optional weapons and things for you guys to do now. So now what we're going to do is head all the way back to Fort Faroth, and we're finally going to defeat a very specific enemy that will net us a lot of souls and give us options for what we're going to end up doing and allow you to choose what you want to do for your run. So, as well as also getting a legendary incantation. So hopefully, you know, that all goes well. And hopefully this can be a good start for you guys. So, make sure that you have the pickled foulfoot in your inventory. So basically you're just going to come to this tail right here of this dragon, and you can eventually bleed the dragon out by, I believe it's 24 hits per each one, and then it goes up. So as you'll see, this dragon will also afflict us with a debuff that will reduce the damage. But as you see, I just did 13,000 damage. So basically what you're going to do is, I believe it is 4 or 5 bleeds, and then you want to activate the gold pickled foulfoot, and then when you defeat the dragon, you will get 96,000 runes. So hopefully that'll set you guys up with a decent amount of runes, so you can then, you know, invest into whatever weapon that you want to do. As you can see, this ice rind hatchet will actually probably be really good for us. But now I'm just going to skip to when I defeat this and get the runes to show proof for you guys. Now, as you can see in the bottom right, I have 97,000 runes. So we're obviously going to be trying to put those stats into whatever it is that we would like to use. So we're also going to be getting the 18 intelligence, so we're going to be dual wielding, but we're also going to make sure that we use this ice rind hatchet real quick. If you want the sword of night and flame, that one requires 24 faith and intelligence, but it is a really good weapon. So there's going to be like one last, or 2, maybe 3 more things left to show you guys before this first video is going to be officially done, as this is just going to be the big setup for everything leading into the rest. So we're also going to be traveling back to the Great Bridge real quick, and going to be spending our runes and stuff. So I'll see you once that's said and done. Alright, so from here we're going to be taking a very specific path to another grace just located close to us and nearby, but then we're also going to be doing something to get another 40,000 runes, just in case you feel like the amount we got was just not enough for you guys. So I'm going to go there and then do that. Alright, sadly here at Lynn's Rise you cannot use the Black Knight cheese anymore, or the Knight Rider Cavalry, but anyways, there's still a decent rune farm, as if you run down this hill, you'll activate a ball enemy to spawn. If you'll wait a bit, you can then dash with your horse, and the enemy will fall off to their death, and will give you roughly a little under 2,000 runes every time that you do this. So if you need a consistent rune farm, you can do that. If not, that's fine. If you want to get into Lynn's Rise, I'll try and show you real quickly. Lynn. So you'll take this spirit jump, and you'll kind of angle yourself more east. Try and land right about there. and that'll get you inside, as there is no way to actually break the barrier. It's kind of really weird. Maybe we can trigger it from right here. And just like that, we're now inside. And we can take this up. And then just up here we can find a chest that'll normally have a memory slot. There you go, memory stone. That basically gives you a free incantation slot, if need be, which is pretty cool. But the last thing that I would like to show off is back in Limgrave. So if we head to the Aghill Lake North, we can get 2 more caves, and also get another unique item, or weapon as I should say. The first cave will have specifically level 1 smithing stones, which will be used fairly recently or pretty early on for you, as you'll need them to get to +3, you know, so yeah. We're basically just going to head down this right path. And you should be able to jump off right around here and be just fine when you land. And in here, just like before in the other one, there will be an elevator you can take down. Or if you want to, you can fall down the sides like so. Get some golden runes. If you want, it's best to have like a torch of some kind to whenever you're doing this, especially these kind of tunnels, because they are very dark. So there's that. Then if we actually head back, make our life a little easier. But from here, you can just follow the path that I take, and you will receive your first NPC invader. So if you just follow the lake around. Do be careful not going too far to the right, as you can cause a dragon to spawn. So do be careful. But if you come over here, eventually you will get kicked off of your horse. And when that happens, that's how you know you have been invaded. It should be up here, close to this cave on our left. There you go. Normally takes a minute, but there it is. But as you can see, with these 2 weapons that we have so far, it's going pretty well for us. We will receive a NPC summon who will just randomly come into our world and help us. And just like that, we defeat the NPC invader, and we'll get a unique blood dagger called the Rune. And if you want to, you can go all the way down over here and you can find that same NPC who has just helped us. He'll be over here to the right.
Just joining the fray. Well, I'm your tarnish. You stay the pup. Just remember, tell me you're a mo.
But anyways, we can now head back and go into that cave. And grab a thing or two. The boss in this cave is very easy to fight and defeat. It's not too tough. The cave itself is also very short. So there's that. But I know I keep saying that there's only a couple more things, but then I remember there's a couple more things that I've forgotten to talk about and mention, which we'll do right now. So from here, if you actually head all the way down here over to Fort Hate, we can grab the other half of one of the medallions that we have gotten. So yeah. Through most of the area just to save time and resources. So I'll see y'all back once I am here. And then I'm going to go over everything that you can get in the specific area. So yeah. Alright, so from here, we can just head up and inside. We can find another golden seed that we can use. And inside we can also find sorry about that. In this bottom area we can find a cookbook. And then if we head upstairs, there is going to be a tough knight with a great shield and a sword. Defeating them gets you the Ash of War Bloody Slash, which you can equip to your Uchi-katana, which you start with, to give it some more bleed damage and give it some arcane scaling. But coming up here all the way to the top is where we'll find the second or other half of the medallion. This will allow us to access a elevator. So from here, what we can do, which I recommend doing, is doing the Rhea Lucaria Crystal Tunnel. I'm simply just going to show the end boss, just so you know, like when you defeat the boss, not the whole gimmick of the boss. I will explain in detail right now the boss. At first you're going to do little to no damage to the boss. If you have your summons out, it'll allow you to get in some damage, and then eventually you're supposed to break the poise of the boss and then riposte them, fully breaking them, and then that will allow you to now do full damage to the boss. As of right now, we should be pretty good damage-wise, so that's not an issue. It's just health and all that. So you can use your seeds and all that you have right now to upgrade your Crimson Flasks, and that'll give you more health when you use it, and as well will give you more that you can use. So as you can see, we got 4 upgrades, and then we can now increase it twice, which will then put us at 7 uses, and it's +2. So I'm now going to skip to the end boss and see you then. Alright, now as you can see, we've gotten the Smithing Stone Miner's Bell Bearing. What this will allow us to do once we go to the round table is there's a NPC that you can give this to if you head off to the left side and to the back, opposite of the blacksmith. You can give that to her, and this will allow you to purchase Smithing Stones 1 and 2 infinitely, as much as you need. Alright, so from here now, we're just going to go back out to the East Rhea Lucaria gate, and then use the 2 medallions that we have, or the 2 halves, and turn it into one, and this will lead us to the next area. So I'm just going to be doing a just straight run from here to there, and then this will also lead us to getting the second bell bearing, which will be really cool, as we only have to go into a specific cave and loot it. We don't have to beat the boss. So from here, I'm going to just show you the way. And so from here, you'll basically just come over here, smack the hidden wall. You'll come around here, basically just jump on through. And in this chest will be the second bell bearing. So now we can just head back the way we came. GTFO. And we can now finally head to the round table. And there will be a very specific entrance, I believe, that you will make whenever you are at the round table. I believe you can't do it from inside here. Yes, so we will now just go to any random... We'll just do this one. So now we can finally tell her that we're off to the round table.
Very well. Let my hand.
There'll be a small little interaction. between you and her. Trophy officially can talk to all of these people.
Well. It is said.
Here you'll find Rodrika,
Read it. My name isn't this the Roundtable. I never knew, although I'm still
and you can also find
The
Dialos.
recusants sent a lack. Can you believe they invited me to join them? I can scarcely believe it myself. You might be surprised to learn I took them up on the and I only had to ask. It's on Mount Gelmir. That's where they are. Just you wait. You'll rue the tale of how...
And then you'll also
I
find
don't
D.
believe I'm known as heed those who all the more. Unless you...
And then you can find this guy here.
Oh, welcome.
He'll
I
teach you
teach
about
and explore so that
incantations
one
and all that.
ensuring- By the way, you
You'll
most
want to
darling
say that you
Rollo.
see it. But
May
from
the
here,
golden order-
if you come off to the left, you can talk to this person. They'll give you a "what do you want" emote. And then just over here, you can see the bell bearings that we can offer. And then you can specifically see, as of now, you can purchase up to Smithing Stone 4 infinitely, and you only had to fight one boss. You can also buy a memory slot if you need it. You can then also check out the other bell bearing shops to see what they have. Excuse me. As you can see, I definitely recommend buying the lantern. It's a really good item to have. Frees up a hand slot. And then I also recommend getting the crafting kit. Really, really important to have. But if we actually now head just across the other way, we can find the blacksmith right here, and we can find Fia. We will also be doing her questline apart from other things.
Great champ, perhaps you might doing so. And you, do you think it where I come?
She will give in to the male fantasy and allow you to be held and actually receive comfort. A lot of things most men don't get.
You are.
Doing so
What you
gets you a
found, though it is, come
Baldachin's
back to me. I will
blessing. But from here, you can now use whatever you have to upgrade everything that you need to upgrade. Hopefully, if it requires a somber smithing stone, you only need to use one for each thing, which is really nice. And then with the normal ones, it goes 2, 4, and then 6, so a total of 12. And then that'll be up to 10 for the somber and 25 for the regular. So just keep that in mind. And then there is one last final thing that involves this little area here. Jump down here and you can find a hidden faith item off here over to the left. You will get invaded and receive a gesture upon this happening. But if you come back here, you can find this, the Cipher Pata. These are fist faith weapons that are pretty cool looking. As you see, we got the bow. And here you can fight this invader. The invader is a little tough, but you can fight them whenever you choose to. But as of now, you should have plenty of options for what you want to do and things you can farm, where you can go. The next video will be going into Stormhill Castle. We will be fighting the first official boss that you are supposed to fight that isn't optional, as you have to fight him and you get a trophy for it. But that'll be in the next video. And hopefully that is all said and done. Also, do note though that when you go back to the round table, you will actually be as a weird NPC invader thing, which I'll just show off now. And just like that, we are now officially done with this dingbat. And you'll get the clinging bone. You can now actually head back over to this left path, and you will see that you now have the Royal Remains armor set, which it's a little less than what we currently have on in terms of defense, but overall still pretty cool. Eventually that'll allow you to do the continuation of Fia's questline. If you're also wondering about Rodrika, you can come and talk to the blacksmith about her, who will then tell you to go and talk to her, and then you can tell her what he told you to tell her, and so on and so on, and thus will unlock the ability to upgrade your ashes. As of right now, I wouldn't recommend upgrading any of them, but for now we'll just hold on to that fact. So this will now be the official end of the first video. Like I said, I do know it was really long, and I do hope you'll bear in mind, as it's a lot of information to take in, and I didn't even properly do the south end of the map from this little area right here, which will be getting covered immediately in the next episode, as instead of doing Stormhill, we're actually going to head south and do some extra stuff. So yeah, this has been Mr. Pilgrim, and I will see you all in the next video.